Welcome to another episode of Culture Podcast. It's me, James Allen. It's Fion Bateza, and our guest this week, a Brighton fan more famous than this side of Fatboy Slim. It's Groundhopper, right here, right now. Brighton superfan Jack Stephenson. Seagulls! I don't know if that's a chant. I don't know.
Yeah, it is a chant. It is a chant. Okay. That is correct. It is just seagulls. It's really good because at the Amex there are a lot of seagulls near the stadium. So usually after a goal, there is a conspiracy theory that they release them, but one always sort of swoops down into the stadium, does a little lap and leaves, so everybody can chant seagull at the seagull flying around just after we've gone 1-0 up. Now the theory that they release them is unfounded, but who knows? But yeah, that. So we do chant that, yes.
I remember reading Sorry. Go on.
Sorry, there you go, Fion, don't worry.
I remember reading like a Millwall fan who tried to claim they got done for shouting Zeke Heil.
Yes,
and
yeah,
they tried to pass it off by saying, "Oh yeah, we were singing about Brighton. We were singing about Zeke."
I think the story was that there was they wanted to do a report at a Millwall game about like hooliganism in football or some sort of the right wing in football, and Brighton, I think one of the teams started chanting seagulls, and they misinterpreted that for Sea Kyle.
Right.
How you've managed to do that was like 80s right wing press, the good guys.
A bit like yesterday. I just thought,
from what I remember of it, I just thought if it was had nothing to do with Brighton whatsoever, and the guys just what can I think of?
That's when we got accused of being Nazis by some newspaper, and then I think Craig Bellamy accused us of being racist at one point because we chanted sheepshaggers at him. There was something about that. Something about that. I can't remember. That was a weird one. He's on the Brighton list of enemies.
There was a Borough lad who got done for who got a banning order for shouting that at a Derby fan.
Really?
Yeah. Mental.
That happened. Was it yesterday with the Newport County game on the radio where the commentator went, "Oh, they're shouting Anthony's the greatest."
No, they're not. No, they're not.
Yeah, that was a good one, to be fair. Like, I don't know why they would have thought Newport would be shouting Anthony's the greatest after he's just scored against them.
Yeah.
Considering there is nothing great about his performance ever. Like a terrible, terrible player. And a terrible person as well. Yeah.
Also,
so,
from Anthony to the Amex, there's so much to talk about Brighton-wise. I mean, right now you're on cloud nine. There's nowhere. Well, I mean, obviously winning the league, Europa League as well. Is this the best time it's ever been? It's a bit of a fickle question. Has it been the best time to ever be a Brighton fan at the minute currently?
Yeah, probably. I think. Well, I mean, it's our best time in our history. So yeah, technically it is. I think I was saying like we've just won 5-2 at Sheffield United. And we're playing well in like the best, most fun way possible in that we can't defend for shit, but we also seem to be really good at scoring goals. So all the games just seem to be completely, chaotic. Like, we were 2-0 and cruising on Saturday. Somehow it became 2-2. And then we went and won 5-2 with like a late Danny Welbeck goal where it's deflected off the keeper. It's great. It's everything you could have wanted, really. Goals everywhere. It's fantastic times, really. And then just to add on top of that, Europe as well. So yeah,
there you go. I mean, you've been to you've had AEK Athens, you've had Marseille. You went to Marseille away. What was that like?
Yeah, that was an interesting couple of days. Marseille fans, I think they have a rep, obviously, and that rep is true. They did sort of, we were in a pub. I can't remember what it was called. It was like, what I've noticed with English fans when they're abroad, especially with Brighton, is despite some of these people sometimes maintaining, and it's probably not so much with Brighton, but I've noticed with other clubs, there's a slight anti-Irish sentiment. The first thing a lot of these English fans will do is just flock to the nearest Irish bar as quickly as possible and take over that whole Irish bar. So we were stuck in this Irish bar that basically the riot police like surrounded it. nothing had even happened at that point. And then all of a sudden, about 50, 60, one had a machete. I definitely saw one machete. Luckily, I was so drunk, I just didn't really care. And yeah, so they sort of, they're waving machetes around, police were like that. I just walked back to the hotel through the middle of it. And yeah, it was quite a hairy place to go. Lovely city, just not very nice football fans. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I loved it. It's pretty chaotic, but Marseille is, and the atmosphere in the ground was just on another level. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, the noise, I can't describe how loud that was. Like, it was literally the loudest thing I've ever heard in my life. Especially when I went 2-0 up. And I think we had a penalty in the last minute and they were whistling and you just couldn't even hear yourself think. So I have no idea how João Pedro scored it, but I wasn't complaining really. And I learned so many new hand gestures. Because the French, they don't like that one. They don't like that one. Big time. But they do like that one a lot. Which I like. They do it with force as well. Really good. Yeah, like that. And they do a lot of the arm one. That one a lot. That one you get a lot. I don't really know what it means. I've probably done something terrible now on video, but they do that a lot. So yeah, it was good. It was a good learning lesson.
Yeah.
It's very rare you see the fun extend from the.
Yeah, the fun they do it with
sometimes
everything.
for ease of access, I suppose, isn't it? Just like, oh, fuck off, come on.
Yeah.
They do it every time, and they do it with force. It's like bang, bang, like that. They're throwing stuff at you, like over police.
French. It's the French, but it's like an Inglorious Bastards when he gets killed for doing that.
Yeah,
exactly.
when I was in school, everyone would put like the ring finger up and go, "Hey, you know, in Italy that means cunt." You're like, "No, it doesn't."
Oh wait, is that like that?
To do. That's too hard to do. Understand?
Hey, so
that might explain something because a lot of the Greeks kept on doing this at us. They kept on doing free like that. So that might be something similar. We were like, that was a brand new hand gesture. They were very angry. The Greek men were very angry with them losing. They were very unhappy. So unhappy that they attacked us quite a lot. They just kept on. There was like a glass screen that they just kept on punching, and then the police tear gassed them. Obviously, because that's what European police just do everywhere. And then
tear gas, fuck off.
But I think the Greek police didn't realise the direction of the wind, so all that tear gas just flew into us. So we got tear gas by mistake, which was a new experience following Brighton. You never quite got that at Rotherham and places like that. I think that would be quite a fun experience, being tear gassed by mistake in Rotherham. For some people, maybe.
It's like an Alex Turner lyric, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We've not got chip gas. Get the chip salts. Get the chip salts. Get the tear gas. Get the chip. Throw their eyes.
I was tear gassed by mistake in Rotherham.
yeah. That was a strange experience. But luckily, in all these, I don't think I've been sober for about a single minute of these European games. Like literally, you can drink in the ground. In Marseille, you could smoke in the ground. That was great. I don't smoke. But I don't smoke. But someone was smoking. My mate had a pack of cigarettes, and I was just like, "Yeah, fuck it, I'll just have one." No, when in Rome, you just got to enjoy it.
IK Athens was one of my favourite ones because I went to a Celtic game there once, but I ended because the way it was, we were going anyway, and Celtic just happened to be playing. They got during the qualification bit of the Champions League. And I went, fuck it. And they couldn't get a Celtic ticket, obviously, so I just went in the AK end, and it was lovely. And I ended up Declan Rice, and I ended up just forgetting that I have any affiliation to Celtic, and started supporting AK for the day.
What's the score?
I just got swept up in it. Hey.
Yeah, they're quite mental, and they're also like what I found crazy in AK Athens is the politics involved in every club. Like, AK are very, very left wing, but then like another one which I can't remember is very, very right wing, and they're all mental to that level. So it's great though. I thought it was great.
What we've discovered doing this podcast, and since knowing Fionn, Jack, is that every club Fionn supports in Europe, I have ended up supporting another club that has right-wing connotations, and it is total coincidence. It is total coincidence. There's no agenda at hand there, but There's like Greek clubs, and Fion goes, "Oh, Panathinaikos." So, I had an Olympiakos shirt when I was younger, and Fion just goes, "Fascist," all caps.
Yeah, they are. It does. It's true though. It's every club you go to. It's like, oh, we've got to work out whether these are Italian clubs. I find quite hard to work out whether they're going to be fascist or whatever. Quite a lot of them are fascist. And I remember when I was buying a lot of football shirts when I was in a football shirt buying phase, I was like, oh shit, this team might be fascist. I don't want to be walking around in a fascist football
There's
shirt.
a YouTuber who I don't want to name, but he's a Brighton
My favourite impression of all time is this.
He's a Brighton fan, but he also loves Lazio.
Oh, yeah, don't worry, I know all about him. Nice kid when I met him.
He was coat and it is kicking off.
Yeah. I'm sure I talked to him about the fascist thing. I'm sure I did. Because I saw him at, bizarrely of all games, Eastleigh Gateshead. And I can't remember. He's not a fascist, if that helps. That's good, I suppose, isn't it? Yeah, that's good. But Lazio is a fascist club, isn't it? So
no, the best bit in that video was I'll have to get James to do the impression, as he's the official impressionist of that lad. But the one where he's going, well, actually, Lazio's a lot older. We were founded in, and it's like, yeah, but what else happened in 1920s Italy, pal?
Yeah, there is. He had a little mishap at Brighton. He got banned from Brighton for some ticket schemes. Yeah, there you go. But we won't go on about it anymore because he'll probably find this and I'll be on a list somewhere, like I am with most of these things.
But
nice kid. Nice kid.
Yeah,
nice kid. Nice kid.
Heart's in the right place. Footballing leanings, not so much. Let's Anthony knocker that on the head.
That's good, Joe.
Yeah, that was good.
You're wearing a very splendid. I assume at Brighton, is it a away shirt? Is it 94?
Yeah, so it's 94 away shirt. We had a great combo this season. So we had this really nice home kit with this company Santex on the front, which no longer exists, I believe. And it's an Admiral one. It's an Admiral.
Oh, kit. Wow!
And we all love Admiral. Admiral, great. I don't know if they're still going actually.
They did there's someone this season, isn't there? I'm sure
is it Shrewsbury? Is it Shrewsbury?
Might be. I'm sure there's one in Albion League that's they do as well.
I think they do a load of obscure Caribbean islands as well. I think they do I think they do like the Montserrat kit.
Oh,
Now you're interested in Pete.
This is like the scene in Trainspotting where
uninhabitable volcanic island t-shirt.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. And then so we had this one, and then we had the other one, which I've already prepared behind me. That's how good I am. Although it appears to be slightly inside out.
More like
no, this is the third kit, right? And this is a beautiful. Oh right, this is going really well.
Inter Milan.
It's beautiful. Inter Milan number.
Oh,
this is very nice. This is a replicated one, which they sell in the club shop. But it's a nice with the red writing, and quite conveniently, it only got worn in one game ever.
The red badge looks a bit Sam Powley-esque even.
Yes, it does. Yeah, exactly. You could get all the football hipsters, all the left-wing football hipsters. Although they've all left now, haven't they? They've all the left-wing football fans have left St. Pauli now. All the fan clubs have been. Yeah, some internal matter. But we only used it in one game because, unsurprisingly, in a time of when you didn't really change kits, you just wore your home kit if you didn't have a clash. Having another away kit which was also blue, there was very little opportunity for us to actually wear that in any game. So I think we only wore it in one game, which was a 1-0 draw with Swansea in 1994.
They are the best shirts, though.
Yeah, they're the best ones. Yeah, I mean, and like I said, the club creates replicas of them because everybody likes it so much. But we've never made another black and blue one because obviously it doesn't work because we very rarely have a clash. But there was one season where we very stupidly, this was so probably leading on to another topic, which is how Brighton used to be a full-on banter club. We actually had 5 kits in one season, involuntarily, because we ordered 3 kits from Area. One was blue and white, obviously the home kit. Then we had an away kit, which was blue and yellow. And then we had a third kit, which was light blue. So obviously the big error comes around that you're going to have to play a team which plays in blue and white, because there's quite a few. So then we made a white-only kit for some reason, because we played someone. Oh, no, that was it. We played Shrewsbury, who play in blue and yellow. So then we made an all-white kit. And then we played somebody else. Oh, Millwall, who were wearing a blue and white number at the time. So then we had to make but it was more blue than white. It was very confusing. So then we made a fourth kit, which was just white. And then the final kit was Leicester's away kit, because we turned up to Leicester and the ref said all the kits clashed. So the only kit we could get was Leicester's away kit. So
Leicester's club. Yeah, I remember that. We had
a 0-0 draw in Leicester's away kit. So that was probably a peak banter season we had before we became the great club that we are today. In Europe.
That was. I'm sure that was that in early 2000s, because I have a vivid memory of Gabriel Clark announcing something similar to that on the little championship show.
It was 2008-09, so it was League One.
Yeah.
I think it was the season Leicester got promoted from League One, because they went down for one season.
Leicester. Top tiles.
Yeah, top tiles Leicester. Yeah, top stars Leicester. Yeah,
top stars.
That Leicester. That Leicester.
Just imagine a Brighton player kissing the badge. Shit. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Luckily, we were so hopeless that season. We didn't actually score in that game, and it was a 0-0 draw. We were terrible that season. We almost got relegated, and then who knows where we would have been now? I suppose if we got relegated that season, because then we wouldn't have stayed up, gone to the Championship, etc., etc. So. Yeah, that was
Bloom is that Tony Bloom just like anytime there's any horse that he has at Cheltenham, I always back it, because he knows what he's fucking doing. He's a little goblin of a man, but he's
he is.
He knows what he's doing.
He's a very small man. When I think we met him on the train once, we had a flag with his face on for a while, and when it had a flag, one of them got nicked by Marseille Ultras. One of my friends' flag. So you know how they steal flags? They stole this one, which is just Tony Bloom's face. We wonder what they're going to do with it. Are they going to hold it upside down? Well, the rumour was that what they do with the flags is when they play us in the away game, they bring it back and hold it upside down in the away end. But they never did. So they just held a lot of flares up. That was sick, to be fair. But no, we met him, and he's a very nice guy, actually. But he always travels by train to all the games, which is really odd for an owner. When he's in this country, he goes to all the away games on the train. A man of the people, you would say. A billionaire man of the people.
He's a professional gambler, isn't he? So he knows what's what.
That sort of it's all a bit of a mystery where he got his money from, really. Because he didn't just solely do it playing poker, we presume. He did it through like an investment company to do with betting, but he's got a lot of property as well. Like their flats down the road from me are owned by him. So
he's definitely a professional. He's definitely a professional gambler taking Southern Rails trains.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, good thing I'm not doing this during work hours, isn't it? So.
No. One of the things I really want to get into. Can you? I don't know the origin, but can you tell me how the M25 derby was kind of manufactured? Because it feels like it's a really sore point for a lot of non-Brighton or Palace fans.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a forced derby. But is it? Yeah, from your point of view, what do you?
The first thing is it's called the M23 derby, not the M25 derby. So we'll let you off on that one. Yeah.
Fucking hell, James.
I thought M25.
I did as well.
M25 is so the M23 runs between Brighton and Palace, but nobody actually called it that. That's like it's one of these sort of manufactured Sky derbies where they're like, oh yeah, the M25 derby. It's like we always used to play Bournemouth on a Monday night and they'd say it's a South Coast derby. We don't care about Bournemouth, so we don't care.
Well, I don't think anybody cares about Bournemouth.
No, exactly. Do you know what? I always thought this is something I've always thought Bournemouth should do. Just a quick side note. I think them and Reading should come together and become rivals. Because no one cares about Reading. No one cares about Bournemouth.
Nobody cares about Bournemouth.
But they're just it's an easy train journey between the two. Why don't they just have each other? Yeah, the Reading Bournemouth derby. But no.
Breading.
I mean, it's a derby which no one else understands. I think first things first. First things first, it is actually our closest club, other than Crawley. But we've never played Crawley in the league. So they don't really count. So Brighton and Palace
Walker supports Crawley, and that's one of the weirdest things about him.
Yeah, exactly.
You know he's a murderer somewhere secretly. Like you support Crawley Town, mate. Why do you support Crawley Town?
Wasn't that the club he turned down because he wanted to concentrate on God?
Was that really a thing?
Is it something else no, because he's very religious, Dan Walker.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, and he
down Crawley Town for Jesus
Christ.
I'm
sure he turned down like a career with Crawley Town because they trained on a Sunday or something. And that's the Lord's Day.
Good.
Sorry, guys, I've got a trial with the man upstairs.
Yeah, exactly. Him and Nathan Jones.
On my ass all day. Sorry.
You can make a God 11 out of him, Nathan Jones.
Yes.
Very deeply religious one. Yeah.
Linvoy Primus.
Yeah.
If you had a manager, you'd have the 12 disciples, wouldn't you?
Yeah. But yeah, sorry, back to Brighton Crystal Palace before I sidetrack. By God. It all started in the 70s with some weird, when cup replays went on and on and on.
Yes.
And we had some replay against them in the 70s when Terry Venables was manager of Palace and Alan Muller was Brighton manager. And they used to play with each other at Tottenham, but they didn't like each other. And so there's some sort of rivalry going on the touchline. And it went to a replay where there was this stupid game at Stamford Bridge of all places because they played it at a neutral venue. I think it was like the 4th or 5th game in this cup tie.
Like a 4th replay?
Yeah, or I think it was the 3rd replay. There'd definitely been more than 2 replays. And Brighton scored
the FA Cup sponsored by Ayaz.
Yeah.
I had it in there.
Ayaz. Fuck me. What happened to him?
His son got stuck on replay and he just fucking never got over it.
But yeah, went to like all these replays and Brighton put the ball in the net like 4 times from penalties and they all got ruled out. And they all talk about obviously not of my generation because this was the 70s. They always talk about Ron Chalice, the referee, Chalice of the Palace, who ruled out all the games. And I think there was just a massive scrap after the game. And Mullery threw a fiver at the floor and said, some spare change. He went into his pocket, got the spare change, threw it at the floor and said, "You're not worth that." So there's a big thing that not worth that, which is what Alan Mullery said to him. Back in the good old days of football violence, last Saturday.
That's a proper 1970s referee name as well, Ron Chalice.
Yeah, Ron Chalice. Yeah, Ron.
It's like your Trevor Kettles of this world. That's a proper 2010s referee.
Trevor Kettle.
Big Trev Kettle.
I don't think he was around for our League One days. He's very recent, isn't he? Trevor Kettle.
Yeah, he fucked a few Borough games up. That's why I remember.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, I remember seeing quite a few angry tweets about Trevor Kettle. But he's got started. The name is quite cool. You're right. It is a proper name.
Yeah, but it's like there's loads of Kettle's got to keep it from getting it to boiling point here. Shit like that.
A referee's job, definitely the poison chalice, but we'll see if he's up to the challenge today.
Yeah, it works. But yeah, then it carried on from there, and it just seems to be one of those. It's like a rivalry that's just kept on building. When you get promoted from like Middlesbrough. We had a bit of a rivalry with Middlesbrough for a bit when we were getting promoted for the Championship. And it's sort of like one of those which is relatively nearby. And it just kept on getting worse and worse. Like we kept on getting promoted at the same time. It just carried on. So I suppose it's not quite got the geographical hatred or the long-running hatred of some other rivalries. But it's still been going since the 70s, and it's kind of no one in London cares about Palace. That'll piss a load of them off. But no one in London does care about them. Like Millwall got West Ham, Chelsea have got everyone.
Everybody hates. Everybody hates Spurs as well.
Charlton have a bit of a rivalry with them, but other than that, no one else really cares.
Well, Charlton's Millwall again, though, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So we just sort of have each other, and I suppose that's a warming conclusion to why Brighton. We have each other, so who else are we going to hate? But and also like Zaha knocked us out of the playoffs. Then we didn't play each other for like 20 years. And in the first game back, I was only about 6 or 7, and we played them at Sellers Park, and we lost 5-0. And Andy Johnson scored a hat-trick for them. And I remember it just being awful, like so much, it just kicking off everywhere. And I can remember it quite vividly because when I was a kid, there was an ambulance being rocked side to side by all the fans because, damage. And I asked my dad why they were doing that. And he responded quite quickly with, I think they've dropped some money under it to hide me from the realities of football violence.
That's a great dad answer, that.
So, and I think I just went, oh, okay, that's fair enough then. And then it just and then we had Zaha knock us out of the playoffs. We never liked Wilfred Zaha for that reason. They don't like Lewis Dunk for similar reasons. He's never scored against them though, so I suppose they've got the one-upmanship on that. But then Zaha left them, so losers. I don't like him either. I find him a very annoying club. Obviously that other people won't. Like, I just think they've got this whole like drum thing. It's very impressive sometimes, but it's a bit of a myth. Like you go there some games and they're banging their drum, letting off flares. It sounds good. Sometimes you can't even hear a word out of them, and they don't travel very well. And that's one thing I will always credit Brighton with. We do travel quite well to away games. We do always sell out our allocation. And this is a proper rivalry because we're already arguing about attendances.
Attendances, grown men arguing about attendances. Come on.
That is
what it's all about.
That's the key to any football. The foundation to any good football rivalry is arguing about attendances. And that's what. But they all sing South London proud. They're all from bloody Purley and Red Hill and Caterham and Epsom. They're all from Surrey. So, but other than that, I don't really like them. And it's quite apt really because we are playing them this weekend. So
there you go. Perfect time.
So it's not on TV though. So which is quite a surprise because normally that's the first TV game that they pick every season. So it's 3 p.m. Saturday.
I can't wait for this sort of forced obliged. Non-obliged poetry VT on we're separated by tarmac, but we'll be on attack.
Yeah. The problem. H passion. Oh, that shit.
Because they asked me to do one. Someone's found my Twitter account basically who works for a major TV station, and they're like, whenever they want like some sort of video to do with Brighton, they seem to be asking me, can you come to this pub at like 2:00 on a Monday? And I just go, not really, no, because I have a job. And they try to get me to do one for Palace, but I don't know. I feel like there's been this point where, like you say, it's like every VT, like we're separated by time. It's one that other fans are just never going to get, and I'm happy to accept that.
I think it's quite hard to understand like see, you have West Brom Wolves at the weekend, and then you just go, like they're not particularly that close. They're not like directly like they're both shit places nobody cares about. So from outside you go, why would you care about West Brom if you're in the Premier League?
Yeah,
but then
exactly.
it's not something you can get unless you're in it. Like, and you just fucking
I saw someone on Twitter say
you work with.
I saw someone on Twitter say, West Brom fan, we won it in the stands. We won the battle in the stands.
Yeah.
We didn't because he was covered in blood. One of them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The bad guy from Captain America, Hail Hydra.
Yeah.
He was walking around, wasn't he? Or someone went, "Oh, have you seen Alan Brazil Man?" And I couldn't understand who Alan Brazil Man was. Oh, and then I realised it was a guy covered in blood. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun fact about the Hawthorns: highest ground above sea level.
Really?
There you go.
Sorry, can I dispute this? Because it's wrong.
Oh, James. You're going to get disputed.
I believe it's wrong. This fact, right? Everybody always says it to me whenever you bring up the Hawthorn, that the highest Football League ground is now Forest Green Rovers.
Oh.
I stand corrected.
There you go. Sorry, I just
Google it, James.
I'm
going to segue. I'm going to segue that I was that I should have done about 5 minutes ago, but we had other good material because you mentioned Borough, Jack. We'll go on to the Culture's Hero of the Week that you've prepared. But first, mine. Make it all about myself first. My Brighton cult hero will forever be Jack Stevens. Because
I really thought you were going to say my name there. No, I suddenly had a panic there. Jack Stevens.
Because he was the one who, thanks to him taking about six fucking stitches out of Gaston Ramirez's leg.
Sorry, I'm going to be really annoying again. That was Dale Stevens.
Dale Stevens, that's what I meant. Yeah. Sorry, same one. Yeah.
It's all right. Drink. Sorry, I need to stop correcting. I'm a little bit of an encyclopedia on Brighton knowledge.
Dale Stevens. Jack. Who does Jack Stevens? Did he play for Brighton as well?
He played for Borough. He played for Borough, I'm sure. Centre back.
He did play for. Did he?
Yeah. He wasn't very good. He played for Bournemouth. Yeah, another South Coast.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think he was on loan. He played about 3 times. Anyway.
Yeah.
But the point being, now that I've embarrassed myself. Dale Stevens, who got sent off against Brighton, sent off against Borough, and got us promoted that day. So yeah, thank you to Dale Stevens.
That was a terrible day for me, obviously. That was a horrible.
Did you go up to Borough that day? Yes, you did.
There was a 12 o'clock kickoff on the coach. It was awful, and people were getting like bottled on the way back to the coach. It was a fun day all round. But who had the last laugh? Not to go all out of
It means more. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Last laugh there. But yeah, no. And then we went back a few seasons later, and we played them in a cup, 1-0 win. Glenn Murray scored. He scored one of a proper comedy goal, and I think George Friend cleared it into his stomach or something, and it just bounced in the back of the net right in the last minute. We hadn't had a shot on target all game either, and I remember it kicking off after that for some reason as well. Whatever happened to Borough Fan TV? I shouted something obscene in the background of Borough Fan TV that day, but I can never find the video.
There's a great one of I think they just got too much abuse and the guy stopped doing it.
A lot of it from me, clearly.
There's a great one of my mate's dad who my mate's dad going on it and going, it's my first game today. I've never been before, but I think we should sack the manager. We should do this. We should like taking the piss. I went every week, but it's like, oh yeah, just fucking great line. Just great line to go up to the guy and say, "This is my first game. I want the manager out."
But yeah, sorry, we'll get back to my cult hero before I bring up another dodgy YouTube channel.
Of course, mate. Starting beef here, Jack. That you're gonna have to stick around forever to solve.
Borough Brighton was a big beef back in the day. That was
like a good few years, yeah.
Yeah, for that season, that was. I did not like Borough at all. Yeah, 2 years, and it was just like. And then when you got relegated, everybody was like, "That's a bigger victory of them all." Sorry, I did that again, didn't I? But I remember it just being, us and Middlesbrough that whole season. And do you know what came into a lot of that? Attendance. Borough's attendance, Brighton's attendance, away fans.
Oh, I remember having that, seeing that discussion a million times over here.
Yeah, on the Championship banter page on Facebook. Back in the good days.
In the good days, there. Well, you could go on a forum and get banned for calling someone names. Oh, yeah. And never go on it again.
Well, I'm quite active on our forum still, and there's not really forums are a dying art. They were the good stuff.
Great, aren't they?
Like Brighton's forum, North Stand Chat, is probably one of the most active I've seen. But it is like a forum for anything. Like you just go into there and it's like, like there's a thread called like, what was that loud bang? And it was like, what's the text underneath? It's just, in Hove there was a loud bang. Does anyone know what it was? And then that'll turn into a 50-page thread. Yeah, you have to do it on TikTok now, don't you?
About attendance that inevitably descends into attendances.
Yeah, exactly.
Why am I wrong?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you'd always get like a wind-up merchant from the other club come in and just like post a load of abuse and then disappear. Just get banned within like 20 minutes. Oh, those were the heydays. Those are the heydays of forums. But yeah, sorry, I'll go to my cult hero, of course.
Go for it.
Which is Vicente Rodriguez. He's a player that, obviously, in the last few years, we've had so many good, amazing players. Like McAllister, Caicedo, who sold for 100 million or whatever. But the one that I loved the most was Vicente. So if you know your Spanish football well, he played for Valencia for like 10 years, I want to say, when they were like Champions League finalists, won La Liga. And we got him on a free transfer somehow when we just got promoted from the Championship. And he was always injured, obviously, like every fan's favourite. But my God, he was amazing when he played. Like, I remember the first thing he did was he played against Ipswich, and he literally took on about 5 or 6 players, stood at the edge of the box, sent Jimmy Bullard to a different postcode. He probably retired him and got the Soccer AM contract there and then. And just curled it straight in the top corner. And yeah, he was magic, Vicente. And also, of course, at the end there was just like, there was plenty of like flouncing at the end. He slagged off the manager when he left. Said he was the worst person he's ever met. Said Gus Poyet was the worst person he's ever met in his life. Which just sort of ended it all. And it was just sort of like this flash in the pan of a player like so out of his league, if that makes sense. Like, McAllister and Caicedo has like they played at the right level, if that made sense. Vicente played in the Championship when he should have never have been at that level. He was far too good to be anywhere near it. And I'm sure if you ever talk to any Derby fans who watched him that day against Derby, he played and he ran from about the edge of his own box and cracked it off the crossbar, the greatest goal that never was, and also got 2 assists. And it was just that day where he just completely destroyed Derby. And then we never really saw him again because he was always unfit, and then he fell out with the manager, and then he just didn't renew the contract and retired. And yeah, he's everything you could want from a cult hero. Yeah.
That's a good 37-year-old waltzing through on the end of his career. That's always
He's part of the Spanish Revolution at Brighton, which we had for a while under Poyet.
We had loads.
We had Calderon, he was good. Bruno, who was good, but he's a snake now because he went to Chelsea with Graham Potter. So he's, despite being a club legend, he'll never be forgiven.
Bruno Salter, is it?
Bruno Salter, yeah. Never know, like, he broke my mum's heart when he left.
Oh.
Because my mum, like, almost like shrine level to Bruno, how much she loved Bruno. And then, of course, he became assistant manager and then left with Graham Potter to Chelsea. And when Chelsea came back with Potter and Bruno, my mum, it's quite a mild-mannered woman, was standing at the front of the top tier at the Amex, like, shouting abuse down at Bruno for leaving, which was just, like, the most... It was sickening. I was like, what the fuck are you doing, Mum?
Oh, that's great.
And I just joined him 5 minutes later. So, yeah, Bruno destroyed all our hearts. And then we had Spanish Dave, David Lopez. He was an interesting player. He was the old trope of just calling somebody Spanish Dave because you can't say their name, even though it's Lopez. It's not quite Azpilicueta. We had Orlandi. He was a great Spanish player. And we also had some shit ones. They were fun. Like David Rodriguez. He was, if anybody really remembers him, I'll be impressed. But he scored 1 goal, I think, and he was brought in to replace Ulloa. No. To play alongside Ulloa. But he was Argentinian, Ulloa. He was Argentinian. But he was meant to play alongside, and he was shit.
Well, like a cartel boss, Leonardo Ulloa.
Yeah, he did.
It's just like I'd just had the face of like a Salamanca-esque figure.
He was quite a he was a hell of a player, and he was very good for Leicester as well, wasn't he? So he won them the league. We sold him to that. We did quite a comedy move then, actually. You know, we sold Ujer for 10 million and replaced him with Chris O'Grady for 500k. Which literally, I think, which eventually led to Sami Hyypiä being sacked on Christmas Eve. The fallout of that situation, Sami Hyypiä, that was a funny time to be a Brighton fan. Sami Hyypiä, this great.
I totally forgot he managed it.
Because like everybody.
Leverkusen.
It was after Leverkusen. So there was this whole thing that we've got in this amazing manager. We thought he was going to be amazing, and everybody thinks is under Tony Bloom, everything has been amazing, except for this one season when we had Sami Hyypiä as manager, and he was so bad as a manager. Quite a nice guy by all accounts, but he just couldn't manage for shit. And he almost got us relegated to League One that season until Chris Hughton came in and saved us.
That was the city. Because you were like 18th, 19th, weren't you? Finished that season.
And we had a terrible team that season. We had Chris O'Grady up front. He was like our only striker. We got Sam Baldock for something like 8 million, who just ended up not being very good. I think he scored like 3 goals in a season. We had we had no left back until deadline day, and then we got Joe Bennett, a Middlesbrough youth product.
Joe fucking Bennett, Jesus
Christ, who did not understand the concept of defending, despite being a defender.
He's not a good footballer.
No, but I think he was a little bit ahead of his time, Sami Hyypiä, which was he played this sort of 4 at the back with the fullbacks pushing so far up that they were basically like another set of wingers. But you can't really do that with 4 at the back. So you could play like a 5-a-side game in the amount of space he gave every winger. And it just spiraled and eventually became Hyypiä out. The only dark time of our Amex period.
I can't believe I forgot Hyypiä was there. That's mental.
Oh yeah. We also had Paddy McCall.
One of my I was going to say one of my favourite heroes, cult hero, especially on FIFA, was Stefan Kiesling, the German striker.
Oh, Leverkusen, yeah.
One I'd loved. Oh, I wish he graced Sussex.
Well, interestingly, now you come on to that. That's a good little segue because another European football thing is all these clubs have friendships, right, between clubs. Right.
Yeah.
And we, for some reason, have a friendship with Leverkusen, which nobody can quite get to the bottom of why it happened. It's something to do with, unsurprisingly, hooliganism, I think. That's the only thing I've got. But it's not really, because I've been over there a few times to Leverkusen.
No way!
Yeah, so we've got some mates who come over from Leverkusen every now and then. We get them tickets being in the away end. So they've got like memberships and everything. So we have this weird connection with Leverkusen.
Oh my god! I'm part of the Bayern Leverkusen UK group on Swiss.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is. Oh god. Yeah. Just to clarify, I have got a fiance, but this is great stuff. This is great.
Yeah, I've had sex. Yes.
Yeah. Actually, on that, when I was because I last season I went to 200 games of football, and I was sat at the training ground, Brighton's training ground, watching the under-21s, and someone went to me like, "Jack, are you single?" And I was like, "Well, considering I'm spending my Friday night on my own at the training ground watching Brighton under-21s versus Arsenal under-21s, I would say there's a pretty good chance that is the case."
I'm going to Whitstead Albion tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, bloody hell.
200 games of football. You mentioned you're a groundhopper. Has there been one ground that stood out to you over your time? One away day or one game that's particularly just blowing right out of the water?
You don't want to do the obvious and just pick, Signal Iduna Park, Borussia Dortmund. because it's great, but it's like the best stadium ever. So you're going to pick that. In my personal opinion, like I've got two favourites. My favourite one I've been to was Bath City, and it's a proper old school. It's a proper old school stadium. The floodlights are like outside the ground. I'm a bit of a floodlight enthusiast. This is not helping my single stakes here, is it? Like I've got a bit of a thing about floodlights that I really like good floodlights. And
So
like
it's like I thought about this, right? It's like there's football is like a great vehicle to hide your autism in sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
do you know what I mean?
My other thing.
Like floodlight enthusiasm. That's quintessential. If you didn't have a football to hide that in, that kid's a bit fucking weird. But
yeah, because I've of course got I also a slight obsession with trains as well, which furthers that argument. But not trains themselves, more networks. This is sounding even weirder now. But anyway, back to floodlight porn.
Anyway,
floodlight porn.
I know what you mean.
Yeah,
get onto Bath City's floodlights, mate. Sorry, I distracted you. Sorry, go on.
And they're like there's one of them which is outside the ground and it's like surrounded by trees. And I don't know how you get access to it. And there's something about that fascinates me. But it's got a lovely terrace behind both goals. It's got like proper old school stadium. And Bristol Rovers actually played there for like 2 or 3 years, I think.
Really?
No, longer than that, about 10 years. And so it used to be a football league ground, but it's a lovely stadium. It's old school. You can still drink on the terrace as well because it's National League South now. So it's my absolute favourite. But my other favourite one in England is a local one, and it is a little bit of a Dulwich Hamlet hipster stadium, which is Lewis FC, which is around the corner from Brighton, called the Dripping Pan.
Oh
yes. I used to play them every year on FM 07 on the pre-season friendlies, just because we get to go to the Dripping Pan.
Yeah, the Dripping Pan. Yeah.
Do you know a guy called Danny Last?
Yes, I've met him a few times. Brighton fan.
Yeah, so I follow him on Instagram because his photos are amazing. He always posts about when he goes to the Dripping Pan. It looks phenomenal.
Yeah, it's a superb story. It's like I went there yesterday actually, because their women's team is quite good. Their women's team play in the championship, so it's quite a decent standard. And it's like built into the ground, so you've got almost like this sort of I don't know. It's just a really odd stadium. It's built on the grounds of a 8th century priory as well. This is like a great ground, and it's just my absolute favourite ground. I love it. It's got now. This is where it gets all a bit Dulwich Hamlety. It's got such a good craft beer station. It's got like a really good selection of beers, and it's got like these loaded chips, which are really really nice. So it's quite a nice, like a guilty pleasure. But I do follow like my chosen local team who I've watched for a long time. Even before I got into ground hopping, I used to watch when Brighton away. It's Whitehawk, which is another cool name, Whitehawk FC. Sounds like a 70s prog rock band.
Yeah, famously on the Wellston Raider video, aren't they?
Yeah,
yes, that is the location. Yeah, that's the. Actually, weirdly, my friends, all my friends from the football, got me a birthday message from the Wealdstone Raider. Which he called me a kebab eating dosser and a virgin, like multiple times throughout the video. But what made me laugh was my friend said when they emailed him to get the birthday message, he said he will say anything.
Mm.
He kept on emphasising that, like he will say anything. Yeah, and it was like, and my friends were like, it was like, I wonder what we could have gotten to say. And I was like, I'm glad you didn't. Yeah. But yeah, no, he was of course at Whitehawk. But Whitehawk and Lewis are like in the same league now, and they've got a bit of a rivalry. So I don't like to go to Lewis too much because I've got to keep my head down away from people know I'm a Whitehawk fan. You see, they might cave my head in there. All the middle class people from
all
Lewis.
the Lewis ultras.
Yeah, all the Lewis ultras.
Fucking Drippy's panning. Yeah.
Well, there's Whitehawk ultras. They're an odd lot of people. the Whitehall cultures. They bring like cowbells and stuff to the game.
Bloody hell.
Yeah,
I love non-league. I love non-league like ultras sort like because there's a couple of them, but it's like it's just like being ultras for for lads who are 4 out of 5 days a week of painter and decorators. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
There's no like anonymity. There's no anonymity in like because obviously the bigger clubs, obviously there's more members. So like, that's Darren from accounting. I know him.
Yeah, exactly.
Mate, you've given me a loan. You give me a loan on a mortgage. What are you doing?
Well, it's quite funny at Whitehall. They all seem to work for the same company. The players, like they all seem to, even at a quite a high level, they all seem to work for this. I can't remember what the company's called. It's like it used to be called Kingspan, and they all seem to work for this company.
Yeah, they sponsor Ulster in the rugby.
They're the ones. They're the ones that did that make the flammable cladding, aren't they? Because Lewis Hamilton got a load of shit.
I think they are. Yeah, they do make flammable cladding. They actually say that on the website. We make flammable cladding.
we make death traps.
Yeah. Hilarious subject, of course. Flammable cladding. And
if you can't find the comedy in flammable cladding, I don't know what you know.
But yeah, no, it's so they all seem to work for the same company. But the Sussex non-league just seems to be like that. It's just a bit too. It's far enough out of London that it's all a bit weird still. Because in London, it's all like professional players who've dropped out of academies, and have like who are like they're all still trying to get a deal at a good club. Whereas when you go down to like Sussex, you still got like you say the bloke from accounts, and like people who you see on like nights out quite regularly. It's like, oh yeah, you're just playing tomorrow. Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's fine. So
you've got Torquay tomorrow.
yeah, exactly. Now they're falling like a rock, aren't they? They're like they lost to actually. Funny you said that. They lost to Worthing at the weekend.
Oh really?
Worthing, home of course of the hardest geezer. So
is it? Is that where he's from?
Yeah, that's where he's from.
Oh, right.
No way.
Well,
yeah.
He's never getting back there because he's never getting out of Mauritania. So.
Yeah.
Unlucky pal.
But yeah, no, sorry. That's the original story. It's my favourite grounds. It's Lewis and Bath. They're my favourite in England.
There we go.
I think the Prem the Prem doesn't really have any interesting grounds these days.
No, they're all the same. Oh, well, you could argue Luton's if you wanted to be boring.
Well,
but...
Another great segue because I'm going there tomorrow with Brighton.
No, are you really?
So yeah,
Luton Brighton. Is it Luton? Are you playing Brighton? Yeah. Luton tomorrow? I'm guessing. Must be. Huh?
Yeah. I haven't been there for a long time as well. Last time I went there, I left a richer man because of the amount of coins they threw at us after they won the game. So, but yeah, no, the Premier League. I'd probably say Anfield's quite interesting. I
Thank
like
you very much.
I think of all the top 6 clubs, Anfield is the most impressive stadium.
It is, and we'll end the podcast there.
Yeah, Old Trafford's a bit shit, isn't it? Falling to pieces.
Old Trafford is falling down. Stamford Bridge is shite.
Because you can't see from your seat at Stamford Bridge.
Stamford Bridge is really bad.
I've been to Spurs' ground for the NFL,
and that's it's a good stadium, but it's not very interesting, is it?
No.
It's just a bit built up, and then Arsenal.
Not been to the Emirates. Yeah.
Shit. No point even. Shit. Yeah. I went to Bramall Lane at the weekend. Bramall Lane's quite a good ground. I like that
Bramall
ground. It's
decent,
It's an old school ground. You got the 2-tiered away end. Yeah.
Both Sheffield clubs are good grounds.
Yeah. Bramall Lane was good. And then the rest of them are a bit shit. And I used to love my old favourite ground. Actually, used to be Griffin Park. I used to love Griffin Park.
Oh,
Brentford's ground because you had a terrace. When you score, you just go flying. Danger. Crowd crushes, those fun things. And
Maidstone fan at Ipswich just
I don't really went flying down. And I remember we threw my friend's dad on the pitch once, and then realised because he was like leaning near the edge, so we like pushed him over as a joke, and then he got swarmed by stewards, and suddenly thought, oh shit, we shouldn't have done that. because he's going to get
Football man
arrested.
in order.
Yeah. But he came back 5 minutes later. I've never seen a more, like, sort of apologetic pitch invasion of him lying on the floor just going, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that, someone pushed me. So, but yeah, that was quite comedic. So yeah, I used to love Griffin Park. Griffin Park was one of my favourites. So yeah.
Pub on every corner.
Yeah, pub on every corner. I think 3 of them have closed down now. Now the ground's gone.
Yeah, they've all gone, haven't they? Yeah, because the ground's gone.
Yeah. So note. Yeah.
We're actually interviewing a Brentford fan after this, so we'll investigate that.
Yeah. Well, one of them's closed. I think so.
One or 3 or 4 or all of them.
Yeah.
This is this has been an absolute joy. Again,
it's been great, Jack.
Always baffled by just the amount of anecdotal richness that guests get into when they talk about their football club. It's fantastic. I'd love to go to. Is it still called the Amex? Or the Amex? Is still called that?
No, do you want a really boring fact? Probably like the most boring fact I'm going to give you. Amex is the biggest employer in Brighton as a company, American Express. Okay. So they probably won't get rid of the sponsorship ever. I think the sponsorship deal is like it's something like 25 years and will probably go on longer. So it will always be known as the Amex. But when we had the Women's Euros and the Rugby World Cup, and we had to call it something else. I can't remember what we had to call it. So I think it's official because of sponsorship reasons. Because I think
Brighton Arena or something.
Yeah. The sponsor of the thing was Visa, so that wouldn't really work. The Amex Stadium at the Visa tournament. So I think it was called the Brighton Community Stadium. But I don't think Amex will ever change from that.
That's where Japan beat South Africa in the last minute.
It was, yes, it was.
Yeah. I also had a pint. The one time I've been to Brighton and had a pint, they told me they didn't accept Amex. I don't have Amex.
That was the funniest thing. That was when the stadium first opened. Because it takes ages to set up Amex cards. My mum, as a former small business owner, told me this. That it takes ages to get approval from Amex because they're very safe and secure. So for like the first 10 games at the Amex was not accepted. And it led to like some of like the most funniest like dad rage you've ever seen. Because no one really has an Amex that much. Like when I think but all these like dads getting angry, going, "I can't believe that! I can't believe we'd be in the Amex Stadium and not accept Amex." That was comedic.
Just before we wrap up, I went on a date in Brighton. I should preface this, Jack, by saying I live on the Wirral. It was thanks to the rail networks of Britain, just a 5.5 hours to get there. But we met for about an hour, and you haven't just travelled down all the way here for this date, have you? Because that would be a bit weird. No. Got loads of mates. Off to see them in London town. Didn't have any mates in London. Still don't. Need to work on that. But getting the train back and Snapchatting each other, and you've been on that train for quite a while, haven't you? Are you sure you were going to London? Yeah, it's delayed. It's London. Yeah. London calling, more like London bloody waiting. And there was no second date. But much like Steven Gerrard, we go again. It's been lovely to have you on. Sorry to end on that now.
No, you're just tragedy. Don't worry, I've had plenty of terrible dates in Brighton, so it's something we can relate to each other on.
There you go.
Again, I'm adding it to the list. I'd love to go and watch Brighton. I'm doing it. Thank you so much for coming on, Jack.
Thank you very much,
Jack. Where can people find you on socials?
On Twitter, Jack Albion 96. You probably saw that crap JJB tweet that went halfway around the country.
Brilliant.
When I went to Hereford and saw that there is a fully decked out 1990s JJB just right in the middle. No one's touched it for years. Fell to my knees, like just like the end of Planet of the Apes.
You got cut out to Paul Shana in there.
Up. They've flown it up. Look what they've done. It's to let. And you can find me on that or Instagram, jack.s96. Do a lot of kebab reviews on that if that's your thing.
Oh, I'll have to get on that. I'm not going on Instagram.
That's good for...
Expect to follow our Vulture authority in the coming hours.
Well, expect that. I write for a magazine sometimes. Caddy will kill me if I don't plug it. Which is called Transferta magazine, which I do with a few mates from university. It comes out very periodically, and it's kind of similar to this podcast in a way, where it's just about a lot of anecdotal stuff and not really about football, because football ultimately is quite boring. You don't want to talk about XG. You want to talk about like drinking on the train or something like that. It's a good magazine to read. So that's what I plug. That's the best thing to do. So
it's the exact ethos we have here at Culture Ultras. You can follow Culture Ultras Pod on Twitter at Cultures Pod, on Instagram at Cultures Pod, on TikTok at Cultures Pod.
At the Cultures Pod, yeah.
Follow us on Twitter, nearly at 5k. Like a couch to 5k. I don't know. That doesn't know.
Couch to 5k.
Actually, if I do get some more follows off this, it will finally mean that I stop ratioing myself on Twitter, because it means I'm 20 followers behind the amount of accounts I follow.
There you go. You just need to get 20 people who've got shit ratios themselves. Yeah. And then
we can do this.
I'm not going to follow you back though. I'm sorry. I'm not. I'm done with that. But I do that stupid thing where I follow 5,000 people because I just can't be bothered to unfollow non-league clubs. So my Twitter feed is just like football violence from like casual UK lads, followed by like Ashton Town saying goal 1-0, and then like just that the whole way down.
Yeah, I followed the NASCAR Twitter account in 2012, and I can't bring myself to follow them. I don't know why. I don't want to end that relationship.
The first two people I ever followed on Twitter were Ed Lee and Graham Bell off Ski Sunday. So there you go. I don't know why. It just like it used to say on like 2011, 2012 Twitter. He used to go, "Oh, follow us, we're this." Every time, I thought, "Oh, fuck it." You know, a bit of Ski Sunday, watch someone fall down a mountain, I'll follow Graham Lee. Graham Bell, sorry.
Before we get too off piece, go and follow Jack. Go and follow Cultures Pod. And yeah, we'll see you next week with another episode. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.